afternoon from the Edgerton Export Center and our Let's Explore It programs. Today, we have a special guest first. This is Doc. He is our Eastern Screech Owl, and Doc is one of our education birds that we do have here at the center. And he comes from Fontenelle Forest through their Raptor Recovery Program. And he is one of our education ambassadors. He was found with a broken wing, which didn't heal properly, and then is non-releasable to the wild. So he is going to help us today with our program. And today's program is making some special treats for our feathered friends in our yards, and they are going to be birdseed eggs. So instead of going out and doing Easter eggs for Easter this weekend, maybe you can make some eggs with some birdseed and hide them in the trees for birds in the yard. So today we have Nicole here helping assist, and Doc is supervising our little program here. So what you will need is some birdseed of your choice that is for generic, the birds there, and a saucepan, some water, and then we're going to use this Knox gelatin, which is going to hold the birdseed in its form. We also have a couple forms, and you could do whatever you want to make the birdseed containers. Right here we have some plastic eggs that we have. And we made a couple of them up ahead of time. And those are right down here. And what we're going to do is we're going to mix it up, so you're going to have to heat up the water as you mix in the Knox gelatin and add the birdseed to it. So it takes about, what, half a cup?
You need a half a cup of water, so you're not going to go by the recipe that is on the box, because we only need a little bit. The whole point is just to get the birdseed to hold on to itself. We did two. We have this giant one that we did earlier, and then this one, which we use just a normal egg, kind of Easter egg for. See if I can get it back out. Oh boy. You may not like me today. Oh, there we go. And so then we just have an Easter egg. Now this is one that if we wanted, we purposely stuck a piece of pipe cleaner in it to, so if you wanted to
make
a hanger essentially for the tree, or you could just place it in the tree. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. Now, I'm just gonna plug in our little hot plate here. And now you could do this on a stove. Again, you just need a half a cup of water into a pan, and just to get it essentially hot to, right at boiling. Turn this on. Luckily, this thing heats up pretty quickly. But another way to do it is if you have a glass measuring cup that's safe for microwave use. You could also just put a half cup of water in there, put it in the microwave for like a minute or a minute and a half till you know it's just right around boiling. And so we're just going to give that a little bit to heat up. While it does that, I'm going to go ahead and actually measure out the birdseed that we need. And we need 2.5 cups of birdseed. And so we just have some that we have hanging around here at the center.
So we need a nice mixing bowl, so that you're going to mix the mixture together, get it stirred up, and then once the water is heated and we can add the gelatin, we're going to mix that together.
Liam and Reed say hi.
Hey there, Liam. Hi, Reed.
We have Stacy Hebrand, I think.
Hey, Stacy. Here's Doc.
Carol is watching. Miley's watching. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Right, we're almost at boiling. So once it's pretty much, you have hot water, then you can mix in your gelatin and
Cool thing about eastern screech owls is, while Nicole is mixing that all up and stuff, is they are native to Nebraska. They live in hollows of the trees, and you can find them in town, in our backyards. And they do like to hunt little insects, mice. So they're a good little bird to have around. Although they do maybe go after some other littler birds.
there's one packet.
So we're just clear on this. Doc is making a guest appearance, but this food wouldn't be for Doc.
No. He might enjoy chasing the birds that are going to the bird feeder.
And part of one of Deb's demonstrations that she does with the birds is she talks about the sounds. Even though he's a screech owl, he doesn't really make a sound that screeches. So if you hear a screech, that's somebody else, and we can get to that in a little bit.
Yeah, they make a nice little, almost sounds like a horse whinny. It's a cool little call.
Nicole, can we see what we got mixing here?
Just got our
Kinda turns-
gelatin, kind of
A brown liquidish.
brown.
Once
I mean, it's unflavored,
Clear.
so
Yep, we're
it's
not
kind of a-
using Jell-O. No cherry, no grape.
Nope.
This is unflavored gelatin.
yep. And we're just, and again, the whole point of this is just to act as a little bit, kind of like glue to,
A food-safe binder for our birdseed. It actually
Right.
does have some protein in it a little bit, so some of the birds will get some extra protein from that.
all right, that looks good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour that in here. All right. And then we'll just mix it up. Again, just need to make sure all the seeds get nice and coated with it.
One thing, if we're looking here at Doc, some other interesting parts about Doc is the nice coloring that he has. He is very adept at looking like tree bark. So if you're really looking for them in the trees, it might be difficult to see them because of their feathering. He will look like bark.
Kind of slims down a little bit when he
Yeah.
sits
And
in
another
trees.
thing, what we're seeing on top of his head, those are not his ears. Those are actually little ear tufts. And it kind of shows his personality a little bit when his ear tufts are up. And I think he's staring you down in the camera. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's
No
very
interest in
intent
me.
for his camera debut.
All right, I think we've got pretty much everything already mixed up. So we're just gonna go ahead and use these. The one I made earlier or yesterday, this big one, we have a giant Easter egg that we used for that one, though I didn't have enough to actually fill the whole thing up. We're just gonna use some small ones so we can actually hide them in the trees better. And you're just gonna fill them up best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect.
The tighter you do pack them in there, the better. Oh, did we talk about the non-stick spray?
Nope. Because guess what? I forgot it again.
So sometimes what'll make it better so they pop out easier, though most of this should not stick to the plastic egg. You can spray the inside of the egg with some non-stick cooking spray before you pack in the stuff. But obviously, as Nicole just said, she forgot, and the eggs came out fine yesterday. Just something you can do. And she's really getting them in there so it holds together because we don't want them to crumble, because it's not like there's a lot of extra gelatin in and around everything. It's just everything has to touch the seed next to it or the piece of the bird feed.
Yeah, so you just want to get it tight. You don't want it to be massively overflowing, because then you're gonna try and kind of let
Bind them together.
Push
Maybe
it together.
Make it a little bit
I
thicker.
might actually have to take some out. That tape's getting annoying. Oh no! This is gonna be when we just sit in the trees because it's too late to use that. I'll do that with the next
We
one.
can still stick it in the hole, maybe.
It won't go in.
Okay.
I made that mistake yesterday too.
Okay. Well, you want to make sure you put your hanger in the egg.
If you want to make it hang, if you're just willing to have it take and just set in the trees, if like you got a really nice, set of branches that just makes a perfect little hole, you can just set this right in there. Now you can leave these to set for just overnight, or if you want to definitely make sure it solidifies all the way to the center, you can also take and stick them in the fridge overnight. And this time, I remember. So if you want to hang them using either a pipe cleaner, a piece of string, a ribbon, you can take and just put, most Easter eggs have these convenient little holes in the top, and we can just take and put our pipe cleaner in here. It's a little long. All right, now comes the fun part of trying to get seed around it. Ah!
That's good.
All right.
So, and Nicole got the blue egg all smushed together, and even though she thought it was overfilled, she really got it smushed in there really good and tight, and that'll hold it together even better. As you can see from the big one too, is it's smushed in there nice and tight and holds together. Now eventually they will break apart. These are not impervious to the weather, but definitely do hold together quite well. And you'll see these available at farm stores or pet food stores as well. And you could make these into gifts if you want to give something to somebody. It's kind of easy to make. Doesn't take much, but a little time.
All right, now we'll see if I can get them together. I might actually have to cut the... Oh, I'm done.
All right. Squish together, and there we have another one.
Yep. I thought I had 3 plastic eggs.
I know. I don't know where the other one is.
Meh.
We
Did
have
I leave
those.
it in the classroom?
Let me go look.
Okay.
We'll go track
But-
down. Because we have more seed, or we just filled the other half of that big one.
So, and if you have some yarn at home, you could use that as the holder. We just happen to have green pipe cleaners. So it's one of those projects you can really use whatever you have at home and use out there.
And of course, if you did something like I did, completely forgot to put like the PVC pipe in the egg, there's also some really neat ways to create, tie yarn around it so it looks nice that way too.
Fill another one.
One more?
You want to put a holder in that one?
Yes, I'm gonna put a holder in this one.
Okay.
Just when you have to make sure whatever you put through the hole will be able to pull through. So like our pipe cleaner is nice and smooth on the outside because there's only one way to remove it when it's all set together.
You're not gonna be able to twist it too much, which is one of the reasons why having probably a little bit of cooking spray would be better, but it's not impossible. You just have to be a little bit more careful when you take and pull the egg apart, which is another reason actually now that I think about it. If your eggs have this little piece of plastic that's holding the bottom and top together, you might want to take and cut that. So when you
Go to remove
go to remove it, it's a little bit easier. So we might have to take and lightly slice and dice another one just a little bit so we can actually open it. All right, 1/2.
Another little thing about our owl is owls hunt at night. And if you can see on Doc, he has very large eyes. And they don't actually move in their head because our eyes, we can look side to side. Our eyes are round. Theirs are like an orange shaped, not quite round. And so in order for them to look around, they have to be able to turn their head. And an owl can turn their head 270 degrees, so not 360. They're gonna be able to turn and look back over one shoulder, turn and look the other way. And I think Doc did that a little bit earlier where he turned around and looked back.
See if you can get him to do it. Sticker. Hi.
There we go.
And we have Brooke Maines is watching.
Oh, hi, Brooke.
And there's our third one. So we'll finish up this stuff later, but as soon as you have it, like I said, you just have to let it set overnight. The whole point is to let the gelatin harden and hold the seeds together. And then of course, the next day, you can pull it out, and you have perfect little egg-shaped feeder for your birds outside. So if you've got like a tree out in front of one of your windows, you can hang this or hide it in the tree, and then you can watch as birds come and visit to get a little bit of a snack.
Okay.
So, Nicole, when are we going to be on the air next?
That's right. So since it is Easter, like we said yesterday, we're doing our show today. We will not have a video tomorrow, because since Easter's coming up. So we're not also going to have a video on Monday. Instead, it is going to be on Tuesday. It will still be at 2 p.m., but just instead of Monday, it's going to be on Tuesday. And then, of course, Wednesday and Friday next week would be continuation of regular scheduling at 2. So the only day that's going to change is Monday. Just kind of...
Any heads up on what we might be doing? Or are we gonna leave that,
Let's just say you're going to need some paper, and I'll leave it at that.
okay, I think that's a good one.
So everybody out there watching us or going to watch this video afterwards, if there is something you'd like to see us do as mad scientists, we would be open for any suggestions if you have them, as long as we can safely do the experiments in our setting and have the supplies. Just let us know, drop it down in the comments, and we will try our best to work those into our rotation of demonstrations we're going to do. Deb, does Doc have anything else to say to us today? Besides looking cute?
Besides that, owls are very quiet when they fly. Their feathers are very serrated, and that's how they can fly at night and sneak up on their prey. As they have feathers clear down on their feet, if we can see, that helps to keep them very silent while they're flying. And other than that, Doc, friends, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Have a good rest of your day.
Happy Easter, stay safe.